So a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about marriage and how absurd it was that people wanted to limit the marriageable age and say it must be 25 before you get married. How absurd I thought that was. Well, I spoke to a few people after that. It seems to have made quite a stir. And a few people told me that they're kind of afraid of getting married at all. And when I asked them why, they simply stated the very well-known statistic, and that is that, well, there's a 50% divorce rate. That means when I'm walking down the aisle, chances are one out of every two people are going to get divorced anyway, and the people have a little bit of a fear about getting married in the first place. Well, I was astounded to hear that, mainly because I don't actually believe in that number. I don't really believe in this statistic. I know they have all kinds of ways of figuring these things out. And I'm not saying that marriage is so secure that everybody stays married. But on the other hand, I openly want to dispute the fact that people are saying that there's a 50% divorce rate. That means that one out of every two marriages end in divorce. And the reason that I dispute that is not very scientific, I do admit. It is totally anecdotal. But when I think about the people that I know, and I wonder, are they married or divorced? How many more people do I know married than divorced? And then I ask other people who I know, and not necessarily religious Jews and not necessarily Jewish. It just seems that every single person that I know knows a lot more people who are married than people who are divorced. So where this idea comes from that there's a 50% divorce rate, well, it's well known that if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. And I think this is the case. This is one of the cases. So a lot of marriages in the summertime, June, July, August, people wanting to get married. I'm here to tell you today, you don't have to worry, and you don't have to not get married because you're afraid you're going to get divorced. Yes, it's important to make sure that you have those similar values that we spoke about a couple weeks ago. And that is the greatest guarantee and the best way to predict whether your marriage is going to stay together. It's got very little to do with other factors. It has to do with whether you share common goals in life. I know I'm repeating myself, but it can't be said often enough. When you've got the same ideas, the same goals, you've got a much better chance of having a successful marriage. And even if you don't have exactly the same goals, don't be afraid to get married. You're getting married, enjoy it. Don't think that you're just going to become a statistic. Those statistics do not tell the whole story. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Maybe you disagree. Either way, it is something to think about.